Hey folks, it's Becca here from So Darn Twisted again with the next episode of the Junk Journal Jargon Busters and demonstrations and the like. The series is aimed at beginners, people who want to know about supplies, about what things are called when you see this mysterious gadget in use, what tools are useful and things like that. So today I thought I'm going to cover inks and ink stamps because I know that a lot of people wonder about the differences and that kind of thing. So let me tell you that to start with, just a basic black or brown ink stamp, depending on the style you're going. You know, if you're going creamy vintage, you're going to want brown edges. A lot of the vintage stuff I do, I also use black edges. You know, there's no problem with that. So they are as cheap as chips, and you can find them in most post offices and things like that. So then you've also got metallic inks, which are absolutely beautiful. These inks I picked up from Journal Say, I think it was, and they were something like 75p each, and I really wasn't expecting much, if I'm honest, but as I'll show you shortly, they are actually really effective and a really good budget option. You'll often see the most commonly used inks are the Tim Holtz Ranger Distress Oxides and Distress Inks. Now, they are different. To be honest with you, I have used the oxide inks. I don't use them very often, but I will explain them anyway. So distress ink is literally just ink to, you know, just kind of dirty things up a little bit, just, you know, the kind of thing that you just do around the edges of stuff, or, you know, bleed it into the page, that kind of thing. That's your standard inks. But distress inks do have a good pigment. They aren't cheap, unfortunately. And in fact, I got bought a set of the 4 mini ones for Christmas, and unfortunately 2 of them were completely dried up, even though they were in a sealed container. So that was really disappointing, considering how expensive they actually are. I think it was about £14 for 4 miniature ones. So you get the idea when you compare that to sort of 75p for that bigger one. And you can buy re-inking, like bottles of re-inking, for these as well, so when they do run out you can top them up again. So yeah, distress is just used for your basic putting around the edges of things, and you'll see people using distress oxide, which is again really beautiful. But the difference between oxide inks and regular inks is that the pigment is a lot more dense, but if I now spray that with water, it will turn almost into a watercolour paint. So if you use 2 different distress oxides side by side and wet them, you can then blend them together to get some really beautiful effects. And I've also seen it used with heat tools as well, I believe. So yeah, you know, they, for what they are, they're very nice, but they are very expensive, and you don't necessarily need the big expensive to begin with. As I say, you know, these are, you know, cheap inks. That purple metallic cost me about £1, £1.50, something silly like that. And as you can see, it's got a really beautiful pigment to it, and it is lovely and shiny. And also, don't shy away from the little ones. If it's a colour that you're not going to use very much, it's absolutely, you know, fine to just get yourself a little miniature one. And yeah, as you can see, it's only small, but it's effective. So let's just get some of the excess. I put far too much of the purple down on there. But we'll move on to the next part, and then I'll come back to those inks there. So let's get rid of the dauber for a moment. Now we're going to talk about the different types of stamps, and a lot of it comes down to personal preference, I suppose, but I do believe that one definitely trumps the other. So let me explain. When I first started junk journaling, I ran out and bought every wooden stamping block that I could find. Absolutely, it was just like, I want to stamp everything. Unfortunately, the problem with these stamps is that often the design isn't actually put on very straight, as is the case with this one. As you can see, that's that's been put on really badly. So you think you're lining it up straight, but you're not. It comes out crooked. It's a pain. And you can't see the exact placement of where you're putting them. It takes a lot of practice to be able to get the hang of that one. But the plus side to it is you can get these really cute little alphabetical stamps that's just got letters on them, so you can personalize things with people's initials and, you know, that kind of stuff, which is really nice. I think you could probably get the same with the silicone stamps, to be honest, but I bought 2 different types of these. I bought that set as well, but they were on offer in Hobbycraft, so, you know, I don't feel too bad about that. So then I saw people using these, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. And these are called stamping blocks, and they're made of acrylic perspex kind of thing. And effectively, your rubber stamps, silicone stamps, sorry, are usually on a sheet like that, which is really nice. And let's see, let's grab that one. So you just peel them off, and then when you're done with them, they stick back on, you see. So it's a useful little storage system in and of itself. So these have got lines on them more often than not to help you line up where you want your stamp to be. So you can make sure that it's in a straight line, so that, you know, you can line up your block to the edge of your paper and know that that's going to sit straight, kind of thing. So we'll break out one of these, and I'll just show you how brilliant they are. And that ink is lovely. So yeah, it's really, just get rid of that off of there. So yeah, and so, you know, they're the really cheap inks, but it just goes to show that you really don't need to spend a fortune. And these are acid free as well, which is important. When it comes to inks, it's better to buy acid free ones, but you can't really complain about the quality of that ink. So yeah, highly recommended. So you can buy stamping blocks in sets that come in a myriad of shapes and sizes. I received some of them as a gift from my daughter at Christmas, but as you can see, some of them have a lot more lines on them, some are just very basic. I've still got bronze ink on some of this and a lot of my stamps. So there's usually a size for every stamp, and they're not expensive to buy either, which was quite surprising to me. So you can use the stamps for, you know, a number of different things. This journal, the signatures, I was determined that I would only use paper that I designed myself in this journal. I don't know why, but as you can see, I've done a fair bit of stamping, and actually, you know, that was a rubber stamp on that one. But these borders were done with silicone stamps. So I have a beautiful text stamp, which is around here somewhere. You end up with so many of them that you lose track of what's where. There we are. So this is just a block of text that you just attach again to your block and stamp it down. So that's a really nice way to use it up, is to stamp patterns onto your journal pages. So I did that all throughout this journal, which is still in progress, but yeah, so that's one really nice way to use them. And I see another thing that people really seem to love, and I think it looks great myself, is these are postage related, and like ticket stubs and things like that, which are just so lovely. And let me just show you. Actually, that one's going to be my best bet again, I think. So let's just plonk that on there. and we'll just get this. Okay, and then what people do, oh, I didn't ink that very well, did I? A lot of people will make tickets by just doing a row of stamps, and then you can just cut them out and use them for ephemera. That's really untidy, but you know, I don't know why I didn't ink those better. I'm so hit and miss when it comes to ink stamps. I'm terrible. But yeah, so you get the idea. Basically, you can use it to, you know, decorate envelopes. If you wanted to make an ephemera envelope, you could use things like these to decorate it with the postmarks and, you know, things like that. And as I say, the ticket stubs are great for making little bits of ephemera. And you can get these in so many different types and sizes, and again, you can pick them up really reasonably priced on places like Shine and AliExpress. But you get some really lovely ones. That was the Sentiments one that I used earlier. You can get ones that are just pattern. This has still got bronze ink from doing the page, but yeah, that's that one. That's just a big pattern. You get lots of butterflies and banners and flower blocks. And another one that I really love are these flourishes. That I think are absolutely beautiful. They're great for what I actually used them for in this journal. Again, is to do some page corners like this. So I think that looks just absolutely lovely and effective. Yeah, I used them here. So yeah, they're just really nice. So yeah, that's stamps and inks, and as always, I really hope that this has been of use to even one person. That'll be worth it. But I'd love it if you leave me some feedback, if it was helpful or if you just enjoyed the video. Leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel, you know, that would be nice, because then you'll get notified of all of the tutorials that I do and all of the freebie printables and the rest of this series that's dealing with tools and how to use them, etc. So yeah, give me some feedback, guys. Okay, have a good one, and I'll see you in the next episode.